Connor Cordova, MMA Weekly here with Dennis Bermudez. You got a big fight coming up against Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens. It seems like when you started off, when we got to knowing you in The Ultimate Fighter, it was a lot of wrestling background, but your stand-up has come a tremendously far way. What do you think is the biggest contributor to that?
Before the show, I only got like 5 sessions in with my current striking coach, and then prior to that, I was very green to my stand-up, you know. And then since the show, me and my striking coach Keith Trimble has been going to work.
Well, it's been on display fight after fight after fight. And this one coming up, though, Little Heathen's really known for his really tight stand-up. He throws really clean, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't get super wild. Where do you see picking him apart on the feet, or do you see changing levels, setting it up with your strikes and taking him to the floor?
Exactly. Mixing my wrestling with my MMA and wrestling with my stand-up that's the key.
Had a hard fight with Lamas last time. What did you learn most from that fight?
Be patient, you know. I've got 15 minutes to torture a guy. I don't have to get in there and try and knock him out or grind him out in the first minute. You know, I've got 15 minutes. Take my time.
Do you think cardio is going to be a big factor in this fight with Jeremy Stevens?
Getting into the second and third round, if it goes that far, yeah.
And what can you expect from him? It seems like he comes out pretty much with the same game plan every time. Kind of, you know what I'm good at, try to stop me. Do you think anything's going to change from him, or do you think we're going to see the same Jeremy Stevens?
I mean, I'm prepared for whatever he throws at me, you know? And the thing is I'm not going out there trying to, like, get away from what he's good at. I'm going out there and I'm going to do what I'm good at.
So when you're training, do you find yourself less catering to your opponent and just making yourself better, or how much do you tailor to them?
Whenever I train to become the best in the world. I'm not training to necessarily beat someone and you know, I'm training to be able to beat everybody.
So that kind of takes a little bit more of a wider spread, right?
Right. And I mean, as we get a little bit closer to the fight, I will maybe tailor a little bit to my opponent just so I get used to the idea of fighting that particular guy. But in general, it's just to become the baddest man in the world.
So you're not one of those camps that you bring in people that kind of emulate them, or have you brought in anybody that kind of is similar to his style?
Well, like when I fight a lefty, I bring in a lefty. When I've got a guy who's going to try and do ground game, trying to ankle lock me, I bring in a guy who's good at that, you know. But for the most part, all the guys I work with are pretty heavy-handed, and so I didn't really bring anybody else really in that's special.
Any predictions for this fight?
It's gonna. I'm ready for a 15-minute war, but I'm looking for the you know, first round, second round finish.